it's Sally again with some more Magic Mike moments. And today I'm chatting with Jenny McFadden, who's in Sydney. Hey, Jen, how you doing?
Hey, Sal. Yep, good. Good to see you.
Okay, here's a little intro. So Jenny is a life direction coach and soul purpose specialist. As an intuitive coach, spiritual teacher, and creative artist, she helps conscious women to honour their heart's calling and live their purpose with courage, confidence, and conviction. She helps support and guide women who are feeling frustrated, anxious, stuck, to get crystal clear on their direction, trust their inner divine intelligence, and take action to create the next exciting chapter in their life. Whoa, pretty heavy stuff. That sounds awesome, Jen. Do you want to tell me a little bit about how you got into all of this?
How did I get into it? You know, I haven't got one of those stories that's like amazing, bam, something really happened. I think it's like most people's story, which is that you get guided along the way, step by step, from one thing to another. So when I look back on my life and like here I am, in a way I can't really believe this is where I've come to, because, you know, I feel like I'm in a place where I work with women, helping them with their soul purpose, yet in my 20s or teens, I was the biggest science head. You know, like now I work with consciousness and energy and stuff. And at that time, I was like, I remember someone talking to me about astral traveling once, and I just went, you got to be joking. Now that's like, yeah, you know. So how I got here is one of those step-by-step things where, you know, and I think that's what happens for all of us is we do have a path we need to follow. Mm-hmm. We have lots of choices along that path, but if you stray a little bit too off, something will happen that gently or sometimes bigly nudges you back into the direction you're meant to be going. So for me, it's been just a kind of evolving, like an unfolding.
Yeah. And that's giving me goosebumps when you're talking about the challenges. So, you know, as you're talking about that bumpy path, what were some of the challenges that you had to overcome to get to where you are now?
I think the biggest one was probably in my 20s. I had the biggest course correction. You know, I had been married a little while, and I went overseas and had one of those, you know, got to get flown back to Australia situations, thought I was going to die, that kind of thing. Whoa. Didn't. I'm still here. But that changed the course of my life in a way that made me really reassess everything about who I was, what am I doing, you know. And I think I knew that I was on the wrong path, but I think many of us, no matter how old we are at different times, we know something isn't quite right, but we don't really trust it. Mm-hmm. We just kind of go, no, look, everything looks like it's working out. It's all right. You know, it's okay. It's good. But actually there's a part of our heart calling us, our soul calling us to say, this is not really right. You're not going in the right direction. So that it was one of those things where, you know, you have a wake-up call and you realise what's important.
Yeah.
And for me, it was like realising, you know, the stuff isn't important, because when you're faced with death, and a lot of people have had, you know, actual near-death experience. I didn't have anything like that, but when you're faced with it, you suddenly realise what is important, and that was a huge course correction for me, which meant dealing with the physical problem that I had. Like I had a neck injury that I didn't know that I had and was undiagnosed and all the rest of it. But what it meant was it was severe enough that I couldn't live my life the way that I expected. So, you know, I was out of my marriage. I was changed what I wore. I changed where I lived. I changed what I did. And I became a risk taker, you know, because I suddenly realised, you know what, you have to take risks. You can't live your life safe. Something will push you out of it. Yeah. Because generally when you're living safe, you're living in a way that is limited. So that meant that I became really who I really am, but was afraid to be.
Yeah, wow. And it's just so often it takes some major sort of life event or some tragedy before we actually stop and bring the change. And you know, if we can stop that occurring and catch it before it happens, would just be awesome. Yeah, totally awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's what it really takes, Sal, is the willingness to listen to what's coming from the inside. But not only the willingness, but how do you do that?
Yep.
How do you know, and how do you know for sure? How do you know if it's your head? These are all the normal questions I get asked. How do you know if it's coming from your head, if it's really coming from your heart, if it's really the right way to go? Especially when you often have lots of choices that you could have any one of those. What am I here for? Which one should I do? And, you know, life events, you know, we're all here to take care of each other and to be loving and to feel joy and all of that. But we also have some specific things we're here to be.
Absolutely.
And, you get called.
Yeah.
When you get called, you can get a little call, like you say, you can get a little call, or you can get the power. You better pay attention because I've been trying to get your attention for a while.
Yeah, the big knock on the door. Yeah.
So and I think that's where I come in, is I've realised that that's my job, is I help the woman who has got to that point where she realises there's something more I have to contribute here. There's something more I need to be doing. Don't really know what it is. And they've usually been really successful in their life, sort of like me, there's many jobs I've had, things that I've done successfully, good relationships I've had, stuff that I've enjoyed doing, but there's something more. It's like a refinement and an involvement of that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I ended up here.
Yeah. Oh, it's fabulous. It's so fascinating. Now that leads me into my next question. So with these women, what do you think would be the biggest issue facing them? I mean, they've got so many, but this one that sticks out.
So I'll give you an idea of the sort of like typical beautiful soul woman that I see. And she's a conscious, spirited woman who's got to a point in her life. Usually she's been successful in her job. Maybe she's got a family, whatever. But usually kind of a bit later in life, when suddenly more time has become available to actually live her purpose in a sort of more evolved, more spiritual, deeper way. Bring something else to the world that she's here to do, here to be. And she gets, it's where she's at is feeling stuck with that, not sure what that direction is, or if knowing the direction, too scared to take it because it means a big change. It means I'm going to have to change my life, or I'm going to have to do something that people around me don't really understand, or or I'm going to have to start my own business and not be move into that sort of space of supporting myself instead of working for somebody else. And she's sort of feeling like, I don't know what to do here. I'm faced with this kind of direction I want to go in, but it's dark. It's like a tunnel. And I've got to go in there, and it's dark, and I don't know what's going to happen, and I need the support. I can't quite see the other end of it, but I know I've got to go in there, and it's scary. Sometimes it's just the fear that's stopping her. That's where I see that's the biggest thing facing her is, I've got to move forward, but I'm scared of this, and I really need the support to get through this sort of transitionary period from here to here.
Yeah, need someone to hold her hand, basically. So
How can I navigate this?
Yeah,
how can I navigate it in a way that someone else who knows a way to get through? What are the tools I need to be the support and to walk beside?
Yeah.
To know that she's supported through that, through to the other side, where, for example, I've worked with women who have been in a job for maybe 25, 30 years as a specialist in their role and know they need to leave. It's hard, right? Leaving a job that you're really good at, but for whatever reason, it's time to go. That's that transition. Or it's, moving from working for someone else into working for yourself. How do I make that transition? Who do I need to be? What's going to happen for me in that period? And can I do this? Can I succeed at this? Can I make it work?
That's awesome. It's awesome. So then that leads into my next question, which is, well, with the women facing these issues, what would be 3 top tips to help them overcome these challenges, that you could recommend, just to start off to do?
Yeah. Gosh, there's so many, right? I think the first thing is knowing that you're always guided.
Right, okay.
You've got to know that you are always guided, that whatever you choose to do, that you have an internal divine inner knowing that's there for a reason, that's connected, that knows, we talk about it, women's intuition, but you can talk, you can get the information that you need. Know that guidance is always there. And it's going to that place Like, get out of your head. Like I'm a bit of practical woo-woo. So I like a combination of the two, which is like, yeah, you got to be sensible about this, right? You're going to throw your job in and walk away, you've got nothing to support yourself. That's probably not a good idea. But you do need to go into the place of where your heart can lead you, because it's never wrong.
Exactly.
It's never wrong. And it will always give answers. So that's number one, is, tuning into your inner self to check, which way am I going? Who am I working with? You can just simply go with yes, no. I mean, you get a gut feel of whether something sits right or not. You get a sense of how you operate, and get a feeling for, or a sense of, or a vision of which way to go. Some people are more visual, some people feel it more. Whichever way is the way that woman works. So that's number one. The second one is, it sounds a little bit, from the left field. Probably should say it's from the right field, because what I would say is, I'm a creative, and I know that creative energy is really powerful. Now I happen to be an artist, but that doesn't mean that people need to be. Some people write, some people draw, some people, all the ways that people are creative. For me, what I do is offer creative processes. Because the creative energy is right brain. That's why I said right field. Creative energy is right brain, and right brain energy is not that logical, got to work it out thing. It's hugely intuitive, connected to all, knows everything, knows how to access, the infinite field of intelligence. So when you can activate that energy, and if we're talking chakra, we're talking like, sort of sacral energy, but also, throat and here, it works throughout the body. When you get into a creative space, however you do that, maybe it's cooking, you're that's the thing that gets you into that space, that place. It's not just meditation. It's some people, it's walking meditation. I
was about to say walking is a big one. That's my big one. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's a place where you sort of let go, and you're in a different mind. You're in that open, vastly, really fast processing space that allows inspiration, insights and things like that. If you can get into that energy, that's really important for being able to move forward, being able to open yourself to more possibilities. Because when you work in the left brain, you work with what's possible. And you censor and limit what you do, because no, I can't see how that can happen. Or it's very logical. And it's useful, but in instances where you're trying to get yourself unstuck, sometimes it's not useful. So that's the second thing, is get your creative energy activated. However you can do it, however it works for you. I do it by using creative processes. I get my stuff out and I experiment. And often in all the work I do with women, I ask them to use a creative journal.
Awesome.
Which uncovers a lot of stuff, give them fun things to do, and one woman realised she's actually a poet. And all this poetry started flowing out. It's like incredible, right? You just never know what's going to show up. So it's really important. It was really amazing. So that's the second thing. Third thing, which one? I wrote a few things down. Third thing. Third thing is really about mindset. Right. So if I'm going to address really the triumvirate here, it's mindset, heart set, soul set. Right. So thinking, heart, which is calling, soul, and soul set is your creative energy. It's what you're passionate about. It's what you're here to do. It's a way to access that. And so mindset, we have a brain where we've been gifted with this amazing thing that we can use, and we need to master it. There are lots of ways to do that. The thing that I would suggest for someone who's feeling stuck is simply start with an I am statement. That, because I am is extremely powerful, right? So I am is the essentially the energy of God. So When Dyer talks about this, that when God spoke to Moses in the burning bush and Moses said, well, who are you? And the translation of that is, I am that I am.
Whoa.
Is God's name.
Yeah.
I am that I am. And so whenever you set, whatever you put after I am is a divine God statement in a way. So it's really important. So one really simple thing that you can start with is to understand or choose an I am statement. For example, I am a divinely fit and healthy human being.
Mm-hmm.
And the more that you start, you use a statement like that, it creates the energy and it connects with the part of you that's really powerful and helps you to get unstuck to start to move forward.
Yep.
So it can be as simple as that. So, and one way that I suggest you complete that statement is by asking your intuition.
Yep.
So you can work from your head, and or like changing your mindset is about using a different thought. But use your intuition to create that thought. So what would be the most powerful one? All right? Well, according to where you're at.
Yeah.
So I am a powerful creator, or I am always able to choose again, or I am, whatever comes after that, that supports where you are in your life and takes you to the next step.
Yeah. Whoa. Whoa, I love it. I love the mindset, the heart set, and the soul set. You know, you've got the whole triangle there.
Yeah.
Just giving me goosebumps, the whole thing. It's just, you know, it's really true. And that whole getting in touch with the creative side, no matter what the avenue is, as you say, it could be drawing, it could be walking, it could be swimming, it could be, you know, time in the bath. It's just like with everything coming, it's just like, you know, great. It's really great. I love it. I love it. So, oh my goodness, it's just, and it's so important in this day and age where, you know, as you say, you could be not stuck in a job, but it might be after 25 years, it's time for change. It's time to move on within yourself, feeling that and getting that confidence to just take the step and do it. And this is such a good way where you've got the tools to help people, you know, get out of that spot and take the step forward and have the confidence to do it and the courage. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what resonates for the women that I work with is that I don't ask them to do it from their head, right? So whilst it's important to change mindset, it's not the place to start. The place to start is really in being able to connect with your inner divine knowing.
Right in there, baby.
Here, and to how to do that, right? Because we often, I think a lot of us do it sort of ad hoc, like we don't make it actually something we choose. We sort of rely on it as like, but we don't have a process for that. And the other thing is really working with guides, right? So other energies, you know, support energies, loved ones who've crossed over, whoever, right? Angels, archangels, whoever. So there is always a group of people working with you, and you can find out who they are. You can find out who's on your spiritual council. You can ask them, and that's what I do. Is I work one-to-one and in groups to help women find out who that is, and then have a conversation and how to trust that conversation, because that's the thing I think we lack, most of us, is the trust in that. And that's, I think, the thing that I've developed over the years is because you get feedback. Stuff starts to show up that you're actually right. You know, you get information. So I had, you know, a lady recently I was working with who was told by her guide. So I always set goals at the beginning. First, I ask, you know, for example, what are your goals for what you would like out of a program I'm working with you on, and then we'll go to your guides and say, what are the goals? And they turn out to be sometimes completely different.
Yeah, right.
And suddenly you've got a whole lot of it's not what you think, right? So that's the difference between mind, brain, and sort of the brain of, you know, your higher self. And so she got a message that said, you are going to be part of a group called the Circle of Elders. You need to create a group of women called the Circle of Elders. And she's like, I don't know what that is. That's what I mean about you get stuff and you think, I don't know who that is or what that is. And that was at the beginning of the process. By the end of the 3 months, she'd had another message that she needed to connect with another couple of women who turned out to be in the same program with me. The same women she'd been guided. And she didn't know, Right? Yeah. So it's like you got to trust what you get, and that's the thing. And
Yep.
so they've now figured out this hugely connection, and they're not all in Australia. So it came together in this way, and the circle is gradually growing. So, and she was the one that got the message that has to happen, and it's been hugely powerful for them. So that's what I mean about it's really important to be able to know how to get in contact, be able to just ask simple questions, how to have a conversation, have a structure for that, and trust what you get.
Yeah, the trust part, it's always tricky for a number of people, really, just letting go and trusting. We can all learn from and keep practicing at, because it gets easier the more you do it.
It does get easier, and I think what I see most is we let our head get in the way. So we let our left brain, but how's that going to work, or how can that happen, or I can't see how I'm going to pay for that, or whatever the thought is this thought that that's the stuff that usually gets in the way. And that's why getting back in creative energy is really important, because it gets you out of that, and it's about being able to keep the balance between the two for me.
Absolutely. Balance is key. It's balance in life. I love it. So it's wonderful. It's wonderful, this program that you're putting together, but at the end of the day, what are you absolutely most passionate about?
What I'm most passionate about is about bringing the balance between masculine and feminine energy in the world. So seeing women be empowered, right? Because we have to live in this realm. So whilst we are energetic spiritual beings, we live in this physical realm, and I see, what's happening on the planet right now is that thing that I think most people, women, have become aware of, which is, and men, enlightened men, become aware that there is the energy between masculine and feminine has been out of balance.
Correct.
And so for me, empowering women to live their calling, to be confident to live their calling, to be confident to go, I can do this, and it's important, and I need to make a difference, and I want to have an impact before I go, because time is ticking, right? That's number one. That's the thing, is they need to be able to live confidently. The second thing is being able to love passionately, and I don't mean just other people, but themselves.
Love themselves, absolutely.
Be able to love who am I, to be able to love me, because I think most women are giving a lot to everybody else in their lives. Right? That's the job that we're here as nurturers, but it needs to get turned around now. And that means loving passionately oneself, but also being able to love the thing you do, to love who you are and what you bring.
Oh my God,
what you bring, and being able to tune in and get a sense of, this is who I am. And really being able to passionately embrace yourself. So that's the same thing. So to live confidently, love passionately, and the last thing is to lead authentically, because it is important to be the leader in your own life.
Absolutely.
You must be able to feel that I make the choices and decisions, and it's okay, and I can support myself in that. And women, there are so many women who are here to lead in whatever way they do that. Sometimes more high profile, but that's not the idea. It's about getting the energy of leadership in your life and being okay with that, not being reliant on somebody else, although people always come in to support. It's being able to be the leader, and what leadership means is having the courage to move forward where it's unfamiliar, and to be okay with that, to go into that dark tunnel and go, you know what, it's going to be all right. Have the courage, have the confidence, and to know the conviction, to know that I am guided and I can trust my decisions. And that's an empowered woman who is in a leadership role, whether she be in her own business, whether she's just leading her own life to do whatever it is that she feels guided, the direction she feels guided to go, to be able to take it, be able to go, yes, I can do that, and I'm going to do it. Scared or not, but the courage to do it.
Oh, Jen, I've just got to say this, I am so in line with everything you're saying, and I passionately feel that now is the time. This is the time for women to step up, to step into their truth, have that confidence, have the clarity with what they want, come from a place of love, be passionate within themselves, stop, give themselves a kiss in the mirror and say, I love you. Because once you love yourself, then you can really love what you're doing in life and love others and love your work and everything. But it really is the time for women to step up. They have it, but they've been hiding under the stone, and now it's time to rip that stone out and stand up with pride, with confidence, and just get out there and speak their truth and stand in their shoes with authenticity. I'm passionate about it, and the more
agree with you,
encourage people to take the cloak off and to take the veil off and the mask and just be themselves authentically, and trust themselves and let go of that fear and really give it a go, because they're being themselves and they're a much better person for being their true self. And we're drawn to that as well. The whole law of attraction, they'll attract in like-minded people. It's just, I'm passionate about it. And it's just, when you say it, I'm just resonating 110% with you. And I think, yes, totally, double thumbs, double awesome. It's just great.
Yeah, I knew you were on the same page though. Yeah. So it's, definitely totally agree with you on all of that. I think the thing that we are, as, leaders ourselves in this area that we're helping other women do is find the way to do that.
Correct.
It's easy to say love yourself. It's easy to say stand up. It's easy to say. It's just it takes courage. It takes time.
Yeah.
Because often you come up against all the things that you've been dealing with all your life, things that you've learned, beliefs about yourself, about who you are. And I think that's one of the things I've really learned is I have to reinvent myself.
Yeah.
It's like reinventing myself all the time, because you have to be able to let go of who you thought you were, who you thought you are. Yeah. Like, I am this sort of person. No, you're not. You can be anything you want. But to let go of no, well, I'm just a shy person, or to let go of a belief that you've held about yourself for so long is a very challenging thing to do. Yeah. And so we have to allow that nurturing and, gather all the women together and say, you know what? You can lean on us. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that we've been through this as well.
Exactly.
And I have too. Been through the fire many times.
Totally. I mean, our job really is to encourage, support, motivate, hold the hand the way through, just to get across it. It's, get across that bridge really, and then, get to a safer place where they have the more confidence within themselves. It's, God, we could chat about this forever. I just love it.
We could. And, we could talk next week and there'd be more things to say, especially about how to let go and inch by inch and just support yourself and know that know that you are a magnificent woman. Know that you have what it takes.
Yeah.
Regardless of where you are or what it is you're facing.
Yeah.
Whatever the challenge is, that just know that whatever you can do, it's something you just said before. What was it? Was sort of like just be willing to do it. Just take a chance. Just go one bit at a time, and
it's small steps.
All takes you where you want to go.
Bigger and bigger and bigger as you go along. So. Yeah, and your confidence grows along as you're taking these steps, and then it's like a kid starting a new food. The more you try it, the easier it becomes, and then it becomes habit. So yeah, oh my gosh, Jen, we're so on the same page. But it's awesome.
Great to chat with you, Sal.
Yeah. Now, if people want to find out more about what you're doing or get in touch with you, where can we send them?
Yeah, so there's a couple of places. One is my website, which is jennymcfadden.net.
Yeah.
So there's some stuff there, freebies, a few, videos, find out more about me. Or come and, if you're a social media lady, come and join me on my Facebook group, which is called Honour Your Heart's Calling.
Yeah.
Honour Your Heart's Calling. Or you can look me up, Jenny McFadden, and you'll find me, my personal page as well. So I'm there. They're the sort of best places. Facebook and my website.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, Jenny, I can't thank you enough for spending the time today to chat with me. It's just,
the pleasure, Sal. It's good fun, isn't it? I love doing this.
Yeah, we've just got to get it up and out. The more we can get it out there and reach other people and empower people and help them get that confidence and know that there are supports around, and we're here to just hold your hand and get across that bridge, and then it. And then you'll just start flying. But, it definitely is the time. I feel it 110% through every inch of my body. And,
me too.
Yeah, just can't wait to, chat again. And, next week, as you said, there'll be other elements that we can bring in as well. It's an evolving process, this. So brilliant. Well, Jenny, thanks again for spending time with us on Magic Mike. And I look forward to chatting to you again in the future, baby. So have a good one.
Awesome.
See ya.
Thanks, Elle. Bye.